The battlefield was silent. Thick smoke floated in the air, hiding the shattered ground beneath. Pieces of armor, metal, and bone were scattered across the plains of the planet codenamed H-97, a dead world the Crayon Empire thought would be easy to take. And then the war beast appeared, dragging itself through the ashes. Its armor, once bright and painted in crayon blood marks, was now cracked and burning. Its breathing was slow, heavy. Fear pulsed from its eyes. A crayon predator was never supposed to show fear. They were the strongest hunters in the galaxy. Their society was built on conquest. Every species they met was treated as prey. Planets were turned into hunting grounds. Victory was a matter of pride. But this was different. Behind the beast, a shadow moved. Not loud, not fast, but certain. A human, not in power armor, not using weapons, just walking step by step across the blood-covered battlefield, and the war beast whimpered. Hours earlier, the Crayon commander, Larthan Groll, stood tall in his warship. He looked out over the broken lands of H-97 and smiled. His scouts had reported no major resistance, only old structures, power readings, and empty bunkers. "This will be an easy hunt," one of his captains said. "These humans have left nothing behind but metal ghosts." Groll laughed. "Then we shall turn their ghosts into trophies." The Crayons landed. Over 1,000 elite hunters touched the ground that day. They split into hunting groups. Their mission: explore, record, and conquer the last known human outpost in this sector. Within the first 2 hours, the first squad went silent. "Probably communication trouble," Groll muttered. "Push forward." Another squad vanished. Then another. No signs of fighting, no signals, just nothing. Groll started to feel uneasy. In the dark halls of the main bunker, Captain Xor Ven, one of Groll's best lieutenants, entered what looked like a human control room. It was dusty. Dead screens blinked. He touched a console. It lit up. A child's voice echoed across the room. "Do you remember what you did to our home?" Xor froze. The screen showed a burning Earth. Not real time, just a video, a message. Flames consumed cities. Crayon warships rained fire. Screams filled the room. Human screams. Mothers, soldiers, children. Then, darkness. The console shut off. Xor backed away. "This is manipulation. A trap." His second-in-command didn't answer. He stood still, staring at the wall. Blood dripped from his nose, or touched his shoulder. The soldier fell, eyes wide open, dead. No wounds, no sound, just gone. Commander Groll lost contact with over 600 hunters in less than a day. That had never happened in Crayon history. He called back his troops. Only 40 returned. Some walked, some crawled. A few didn't speak at all. They just stared into nothing, shaking, whispering words in a language he didn't know. One word kept coming up. "Watcher." Groll demanded answers. What is the Watcher? What weapon did they use? But the survivors only wept. One fell to his knees, pressing a human child's drawing against his chest. A simple picture, a family, a burning house, a red sun. Groll burned it. Enough of this madness. But even he was starting to feel it. The pressure, the cold, the feeling that something was watching him. That night, Groll sat alone in the command tower. He stared at the map. Something strange caught his eye. Every squad that disappeared vanished near old human bunkers. Every one. But the bunkers weren't military. They were marked as emotional memory storage sites. He didn't understand. "Why? Store emotions?" he asked out loud. A voice replied behind him. "To remember." Groll spun around, claws raised. But no one was there. Just silence, and a human song playing softly through the speakers. A lullaby. Meanwhile, deep underground, a human walked. He was tall, dressed in black armor that had no lights, no weapons, no flag. His name had been erased long ago. He did not speak. He did not run. He just moved from place to place, watching, waiting. The crayons called him the Watcher. But he wasn't alone. He carried within him the memories of Earth, the pain, the loss, the rage. When the crayons destroyed Earth, they thought humans were finished, but they didn't know humans had learned to survive in other ways, by encoding memories, by turning grief into a weapon, by creating a human mind that could not die. The Watcher was their final answer. Back on the surface, a squad of 6 crayon warriors entered another memory site. They expected a fight. Instead, they found drawings, notes, letters from mothers to children, soldiers' last messages, poems carved into walls, and a voice. "Are you still proud of your hunt?" The crayons turned, weapons ready. The humans stood there watching them. They fired. He didn't move. The bullets passed through. He flickered. A memory. A projection. Then the room turned red. Their weapons melted. The walls shifted, and one by one, the crayons fell to their knees, crying, screaming, reliving the pain of a species they tried to erase. 1,000 emotions poured into their minds: regret, fear, loss, and finally, silence. Commander Grohl tried to escape. His ship rose into orbit, engines burning. "We must leave. This planet is cursed." But a signal jammed his controls. A human signal. A voice spoke over the ship's system. "You hunted our world. Now, you enter our memories." Grohl saw his own face on the screen, but human eyes stared back. He screamed, trying to claw the image away. Back on the ground, the war beast crawled. Smoke and fire burned around him. His body was breaking, and behind him, the Watcher. One final time, the beast turned to fight. The human stepped forward, lifted one hand, and pressed 2 fingers against the beast's forehead. The beast saw it. Earth. Its beauty, its people, the cities, the songs, the laughter. Then, fire, war, the crayons, death, and a single vow whispered in the flames. Let them forget us. Let them believe we're gone, and then let them remember what we became. The war beast fell, and the Watcher stood alone. Not with weapons, not with ships, but with memory. Because the humans had discovered something stronger than guns. Pain, love, loss, and the power to never forget. The galaxy once feared the Crayon Empire. They were predators bred for war. Their claws tore through armor, and their minds were trained to crush emotion. Fear, guilt, pity. Those were things for weaker species, and for centuries it worked. They had destroyed over 200 civilizations, turned peaceful planets into farms and factories. They wiped out resistance with speed and fire. But then they made a mistake. They attacked Earth, and they didn't kill all the humans. In the black void of space, just outside the H-97 system, a ship floated silently. It was not large. It had no weapons, no flags. It looked like an old research vessel, but its systems were far beyond anything crayons had seen before. Inside, a single human sat, watching the feed from the planet. Her name was Commander Raya Voss, one of the last of Earth's High Command intelligence officers. She watched the footage carefully. The Crayon Empire had deployed over 1,000 hunters. Now fewer than 30 were left on the surface. And even those were breaking. She tapped her screen. Phase 1, complete. Behind her, hidden deep in the ship's memory banks, were recordings, billions of human memories collected before Earth fell. Stored, compressed, sharpened like blades, not just history, not just culture, but raw emotions. And soon, they would be shared with the rest of the galaxy, not as stories, but as weapons. Back on H-97, the Watcher moved again. He walked through the ruins of an old human colony, one the crayons had bombed into the dirt a decade ago. Now it had become his hunting ground, but he didn't hunt like the crayons. He didn't stalk or ambush, he simply arrived. A group of crayon survivors had set up a last defense post in an old building. They were scared, tired, Many hadn't slept in 2 days. Commander Larthen Grohl had stopped giving orders. He sat quietly, in the corner, eyes bloodshot, whispering to himself. "We were gods," he muttered. "We were gods." The others ignored him. They were watching the perimeter. Then it happened. No alarms, no footsteps, just a presence. The room grew cold, the lights flickered, and the sound of a heartbeat filled the air. Not theirs. A human heartbeat. Slow. Calm, heavy. Then he stepped through the wall, not a door through the wall, not a ghost, not a hologram, but something more. The Watcher looked at them, not with hatred, but with something worse. Pity. One of the younger crayon soldiers screamed and opened fire. Lasers burned through where the human stood. He didn't flinch. He just raised one hand. And suddenly, the room changed. They weren't in the building anymore. They were in New York, Earth's largest city, but not today's New York, not the one the crayons destroyed. This was a memory. The sky was blue. The streets were alive. People smiled, played, laughed. Children ran past with ice cream. Old men fed birds. Musicians played on the sidewalks. The crayon soldiers were standing in the middle of it all, confused, shocked. They turned, trying to understand. Then the bombs fell. Fire, screams, people running, buildings collapsing, children crying. One soldier fell to his knees. "Make it stop, make it stop." But it didn't stop. They saw everything. What the Crayon Empire had done. What they had destroyed. Who they had burned. Back in the real world, all 6 crayon soldiers dropped their weapons. Some ran, some crawled, some just collapsed, crying like children. The Watcher walked away. He didn't need to kill them. They would carry the memory now, and that was enough. High above the planet, Commander Ryavos received the update. Subject Grohl encountered. The Watcher. Memory strike successful, survivors unstable. She leaned back. Good. A young officer beside her looked nervous. "Are we really going to send this to the other empires?" "Yes," Raya said. "They need to see what the crayons did." "But won't they think we're monsters too?" Raya looked him in the eyes. "They already think we're gone. They already let Earth burn. Let them feel what we felt. Let them see what they ignored." The officer swallowed and nodded. Raya turned back to the console. "Send the memory packet to the following systems: Dralax Union, Varn Republic, and Zelkar Enclave." The officer hesitated. Even the Zelkar? They watched Earth burn and said nothing. "Send it." He obeyed. 3 hours later, across the galaxy, ships and stations started receiving data packages. No code, no viruses, just memories. At first, most dismissed it. Human stories, old files. But curiosity is powerful. A Zelkar leader activated one of the files and screamed. Her advisors rushed in, only to fall back in horror. The room was filled with sound and light and feeling, the pain of a mother losing her child, the cold rage of a soldier watching his unit die, the helpless fear of a man trapped beneath rubble. It was too real. The memory data attacked not with logic, but with emotion, and it couldn't be stopped. Even after turning off the systems, the feelings remained. People wept, some fainted, some fell into silence, and across the galaxy a new message began to spread. The humans are not dead. They remember everything. Back on H-97, Larthen Grohl stood alone in the ashes of the last bunker. Everyone else was gone. He looked up into the sky. Red clouds swirled above. The sun, broken behind smoke, gave no warmth. And in front of him, the Watcher stood. Grohl tried to speak, tried to demand, tried to beg. But no words came, only tears. The Watcher stepped forward and handed him a small data crystal. Grohl took it with shaking hands. "What is this?" he whispered. The Watcher said nothing. Then for the first time he spoke, just one sentence. "Now you carry the truth." And he vanished. The Crayon Empire collapsed within weeks, not from war, but from memory, from guilt, from truth. Planets began to rebel. Soldiers refused orders. Some even surrendered to humans who never arrived, because they had all seen it: the fall of Earth, the rise of the Watcher, and the truth that no empire can kill. A memory never dies. The galaxy was changing, faster than anyone expected. The Crayon Empire's shock was just the beginning. Across the stars, in hidden corners and forgotten sectors, a secret stirred. On a distant moon named Vetra 9, beneath layers of ice and rock, a long-forgotten human fleet was waking up. No one knew it existed. Not the Galactic Council, not the Crayons, not even most humans. Commander Raya Voss stood in the control room of the flagship, the Dawnbreaker. The ship was old, built centuries ago during Earth's final days, but inside it was filled with advanced technology and weapons no one else had. "Power levels at 75%, said Lieutenant Jax, a young pilot with sharp eyes and quicker reflexes. Raya nodded. "Bring it up to full, we're not here to sleep." Her voice was calm but hard. She carried the weight of 1,000 losses on her shoulders. She turned to the main screen. A blinking red dot appeared in the middle of a star map. "Enemy fleet approaching H97, she said. "Crayons or their allies, I don't know, but they won't last long." Jax frowned. "We're outnumbered," Raya smiled coldly. "Then we fight smarter." Far away in the heart of the Crayon Empire, the news of the memory attack spread panic. Leaders argued. Some wanted to strike back with weapons, others feared the humans had more tricks. The Galactic Council held emergency meetings. The message was clear: humans were not done. Back on Vetra 9, the human fleet was preparing. Ships emerged from icy tunnels. Metal gleamed under artificial lights. Soldiers trained in zero gravity. Each knew the stories. Each knew the cost. They remembered Earth, its beauty and its fall. They remembered the betrayal. But most of all, they remembered the promise. "We will return." In a briefing room, Raya stood before her officers. "We are the last hope of humanity," she said. "We've hidden in the shadows for too long. But now it's time to show the galaxy what humans really are." A young soldier raised her hand. "Commander, what if they don't believe us? What if they see us as just another enemy?" Raya's eyes flashed. "They should fear us. Because humans don't just fight. We survive, we adapt, we conquer." Suddenly alarms blared. "Enemy ships detected," Jack shouted. Outside the window, dozens of Crayon warships appeared. They were bigger, faster, and heavily armed. The enemy fleet started firing. Lasers and missiles lit the dark sky. The Dawnbreaker shook. Raya gripped the console. "Return fire," she ordered. "Activate stealth mode." The ship blinked out of sight. The Crayon fleet was confused. "How did they vanish?" one officer growled. "They're hiding, but where?" In the darkness, the Dawnbreaker slipped between asteroids. Raya's fingers flew over the controls. "We're not just hiding," she said. "We're hunting." Elsewhere, on a Crayon command ship, a strange transmission arrived. It was a human voice, calm, steady, and cold. "Crayons. You destroyed Earth. You thought you killed us. You were wrong. We are coming back." The transmission ended with a single sentence: "Prepare to meet your end." Back on Vetra 9, the human fleet readied itself for the next battle. Raya stared at the stars. Her heart was heavy, but her will was unbreakable. Humans survived extinction. Now we will survive the galaxy. The stars glittered coldly above Vetra 9 as the human fleet prepared for war. Raya Voss stood on the bridge of the Dawnbreaker, watching the faint flicker of distant suns. Her mind was heavy. She knew this fight was more than just battleships and lasers. It was about survival, of her people, their future, and the truth hidden deep in history. "Commander," Jack said, breaking the silence. "We intercepted a message." Raya turned sharply. "From whom?" "Not from the Crayons," Jax replied. "It's human." Raya's brow furrowed. "Explain." Jax handed her a data chip. She slid it into the console and pressed play. A recorded voice echoed through the room, cold, haunting. Earth fell once, but Earth's past was never truly lost. There is a secret that the Galactic Council hid. The screen flickered, showing an old man's face, pale, tired, but determined. My name is Dr. Elias Kaur. I was part of the project called Echo Memory. The project to save humanity's knowledge in case of disaster. The Galactic Council erased Earth's true history. But some of us survived, hidden. And now, it is time to wake the past. Raya's heart pounded. She knew about the Echo Memory Project and a last hope during the fall of Earth, but no one believed it was real. Why now? She whispered. Because the crayons are hunting us. They want to wipe out humanity's last remnants. And if they find the Echo fleet, it's over. Jax looked serious. We need to find this Dr. Kaur's location. To unlock the secrets, and maybe find new allies. Raya nodded. Prepare a stealth ship. I'm going there. Meanwhile, on the Crayon flagship, Admiral Threk seethed. They hide in the shadows. They strike without warning. Humans are monsters, Commander. His voice was rough, full of hate. Find their base. Destroy it. Commander Lyra, his second in command, looked uneasy. Sir, what if humans are more than what we thought? What if they have technology far beyond ours? Threx laughed. They are just animals, but even animals can be crushed. Back on Vetra 9, Raya's stealth ship slipped through space like a ghost. The crew was tense but silent. No one knew what awaited them. When they reached the coordinates, a frozen station floated in orbit. Old, battered, but still alive. This must be it, Raya said. Inside the station, shadows moved. The air was cold and still. The walls held memories, echoes of Earth's last days. Raya's hand trembled as she touched a console. Suddenly, a voice spoke. Welcome, Commander Voss. A hologram flickered to life. Dr. Elias Kaur appeared. Thank you for coming. We have little time. The Galactic Council wants to erase all traces of humanity. But here lies the truth. A weapon, a power from Earth's ancient past. Raya leaned forward. What kind of power? Kaur's eyes shone with urgency. A device called the Heart of Terra, an ancient technology hidden beneath Earth's surface. It can turn the tide of war, but it's dangerous. Raya's mind raced. This could save us or destroy us. Kaur nodded. Only those with a strong heart can control it. Suddenly, alarms blared. Crayon ships detected. Jack shouted. Raya stood up. They found us. Get ready. The station shook as laser blasts hit the hull. Raya's voice was steady but fierce. We will protect this secret. For humanity's future. Outside, the battle began. Stealth ships darted through space. Explosions lit the dark. Raya's fleet was outnumbered, but they fought with fury. The crayons were confident, but they had never faced humans like this. Inside the station, Kaur worked. Quickly, he activated hidden defenses. Hold them off, he shouted. Raya's voice cracked through the comms. We will not let the past die. We will rise. In the chaos, a mysterious figure appeared on the hologram. A woman with sharp eyes and scars. Commander Voss, she said. I am Dr. Mira Loon. We once worked together. But now the council wants me dead. Raya stared. Why are you here? Mira's face hardened. To help. To fight. To save what's left of Earth. The battle outside raged on. But inside, a new hope was born. The secrets of Earth were awakening, and humanity's power was about to be revealed. The battle outside the frozen station on Vetra 9 had reached its peak. The Crayon fleet was relentless, bombarding the ancient human base with overwhelming firepower. But inside, something more powerful was stirring. Commander Raya Voss stood beside Dr. Elias Kaur and Dr. Mira Loon, staring at a holographic map of the ancient Earth. The Heart of Terra is not just a weapon, Kaur explained, voice low but urgent. It is a machine built to protect, It can control energy on a scale no one else understands. Mira nodded. It was created before the Galactic Council even existed, by humans who lived in a time when Earth was more connected to the universe. Raya's eyes narrowed. Why did the Council hide this? Why erase Earth's past? Kor shook his head. Fear. They were afraid humanity would become too powerful. They wanted to keep us weak. Outside, the crayon ships closed in, their lasers cutting through the cold space like deadly knives. We don't have much time, Jack said through the comms. They're preparing to board. Raya took a deep breath. Then we finish this now. Deep beneath the station's surface, the team found a hidden chamber. It pulsed with a soft blue light. The heart of Terra. It was large, almost alive. A glowing sphere connected by a network of cables and ancient technology. Mira stepped forward. This is our hope. She placed her hand on the sphere. The room hummed with power. Suddenly, the heart of Terra responded, sending waves of energy that lit up the chamber. But as they activated it, an alarm sounded. Boarding party incoming, Jax warned. Raya drew her weapon and led the defense. The crayon soldiers stormed the corridors, their claws and weapons deadly. The humans fought back fiercely. In the chaos, Kor worked frantically to link the heart of Terra to their ship's systems. If we can channel its energy through the fleet, he said, we might have a chance to turn the tide. Raya nodded, firing at incoming enemies. Do it. Outside, the human fleet began to glow with a strange blue light. Energy flowed through their ships, making their shields stronger and their weapons more powerful. The crayons hesitated. They had never seen this before. On the bridge of the Crayon flagship, Admiral Threx growled. What is this? Some kind of human tech, his officer replied. Threx snarled. Destroy it before it's too late. Back on Vetra 9, the battle raged. Raya and her team held their ground, protecting the heart of Terra. Suddenly the chamber shook violently. A hidden trap triggered. Mira shouted, Get to safety! The floor cracked open beneath them. Raya grabbed Mira's arm. We can't leave it behind. Mira's eyes were fierce. The heart of Terra is alive. It will protect itself. They barely escaped as the chamber sealed. Outside, empowered by the heart's energy, the human fleet launched a counterattack. Lasers burned brighter. Shields shimmered like stars. One by one, crayon ships exploded in brilliant fireballs. Admiral Threx watched in disbelief as his fleet fell apart. How is this possible? Jax's voice came through the comms, calm but fierce. We're not just humans anymore. We are something stronger. The crayon fleet retreated, battered and broken. But Raya knew this was only the beginning. The heart of Terra was a weapon, but it was also a responsibility. As the human fleet regrouped, Raya looked at the stars. This power could change everything, but it could also destroy us. She clenched her fists. We must be ready. In the silence after battle, a new message came through. It was from the Galactic Council. Humans, the voice said coldly, cease your actions. Return to your place, or face total annihilation. Raya smiled, fierce and unyielding. We have already risen. The galaxy will remember. The warning from the Galactic Council was clear, but it did not bring fear. It brought defiance. Commander Raya Voss stood on the bridge of the Dawnbreaker, the blue glow of the heart of Terra pulsing softly in the background. Around her, the human fleet was rebuilding stronger than ever. Council threats won't stop us, Raya said to her crew. We have power now, power they tried to hide. Her voice was steady, but inside she felt the weight of what was coming. In the council's chamber, the leaders gathered in cold light. The High Chancellor, an alien with sharp features and glowing eyes, spoke. Humans are rising too fast. They challenge the balance. We must act or lose control. A plan was formed. The council would send their greatest champions, the judges of order, elite warriors, feared across the galaxy. Their mission, to crush humanity's rebellion and take the heart of Terra. Back with Raya, the news came like a storm. Judges of order are en route, Jax reported. Raya's eyes narrowed. They won't be easy to fight. Mira stepped forward. The judges are not just fighters. They are strategists. They know our history, our weaknesses, the human fleet prepared, training, repairing, learning to control the heart's power. Raya watched her people grow stronger, but she also saw the cost. Fear and doubt crept into some hearts. One night, Raya found Jack staring at the stars. "Will we win?" he asked quietly. Raya looked at him. "We have to. For Earth. For humanity." The judges arrived like shadows. Their ships were sleek, silent, and deadly. They surrounded Vatra 9. The Council's message was clear: surrender or die. Raya's fleet stood ready. "This is our moment," she told her crew. "We fight not just for survival, but for freedom." The battle began with a flash. Judges' ships moved with deadly precision, but humans used the heart's power to shield and strike. Inside the battle, Raya piloted the Dawnbreaker with fierce skill. She dodged attacks, countered with energy blasts, and coordinated her fleet. Suddenly, an explosion rocked her ship. A judge's fighter had broken through defenses. Raya gritted her teeth. "This ends now." She activated the heart's full power. Outside, the Dawnbreaker shone bright blue. Energy waves spread out, disabling enemy weapons. The judges faltered. But then, a dark truth appeared. One of the judges was a human, a traitor. The traitors, ship fired at the Dawnbreaker. Raya barely escaped the blast. Betrayal shocked the fleet. Trust broke. Raya knew this was more than war. It was a test of humanity's soul. She stood tall. "We will not fall apart. We will fight together." The battle raged on, fierce and brutal, but the heart of Terra's power was growing. In the end, the judges retreated, but their warning was clear. This is only the beginning. Raya looked at her crew. "We have awakened the galaxy, and now it fights back."